going to start actually by you guys introducing yourselves. Stephanie.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm Stephanie Mattera, and I'm a professor at New York University School of Professional Studies, and I lead the Masters of Science in Public Relations and Corporate Communication.
And before that?
I worked in industry and fashion and for lifestyle brands. I also was on a crisis team for Starwood Hotels and Resorts, which was a great experience. And I still dabble a bit in fashion.
Okay. And now you're all in on the academic side.
I am all in on the academics.
Right.
I have 2 years left in my doctorate, and I love my school because we are education at the speed of industry. So for me, it's that perfect hybrid.
Very on message. And what is your thesis on?
I'm going to be looking at workforce development and how we can retool and upskill students and partner with organizations and companies.
Wow,
which
that's
is
a perfect topic for today. How about that? I teed it up.
Yes,
Gabriella.
and I am Gabriella Lynch. I am a Master's of Science in Integrated Marketing candidate at NYU. I'm also working full-time at a luxury travel agency, so night classes is the way for me. I've been really interested in the program. I first learned about it through a friend, and it kind of all worked out. She got a job right after the degree ended, and kind of toted it to me as a great opportunity for myself. So I'm really excited to be a part of it. Yeah.
So let's start there, actually.
Great.
I know this is going to sound like I'm starting on a downer. I don't mean to start on a downer, but I was just reading in the Wall Street Journal because it was free. It was handed to me on the croissant yesterday.
Right.
That the unemployment rate for people graduating, or let's just say for 20, I think to 24-year-olds, so it's a little bit wider. It's really 21 to 24, is higher at 6% versus the general population. There could be all sorts of reasons for that. What do you think, having a full-time job and going for your master's? I'm also obviously very curious because this is part of your thesis. What do you think the skills are to set someone like you, whether you are coming right out of undergrad or you're going to go to grad school, and then how do you get ahead? How do you find edge? Because that's actually pretty high, and it's probably going to go higher. Again, I'm a pathological optimist, so this is not out of character for me. But let's start there. What do you think people need then to have edge and get gainful employment?
That's a tough question, but I think for me, mostly say yes to everything. I think I'm a pathological pessimist, so I'm opposite on you on that. So
we're a good team.
Saying yes to everything, whether I really want to do it or not, is the biggest thing that I live by. And
But that's
I think
optimism saying yes.
It is, but it's a learned optimism.
Fair.
And I think when it suits you and when you feel it's right, say yes. And here I am today, and I'm talking to you guys, and this is great. So, yeah, that's my piece of advice for the edge.
So it's interesting because before I pivoted to tech, I either ran agencies or I started my own agency, sold my agency, and one of the things that frustrated me was when a young person was interviewing, and they could be either first job or second job, they're like, oh, I really want to do fashion. I really want to do, and they're very, I'll use the word precious about it. And I'm like, actually, you should expose yourself to everything.
100%.
Absolutely.
Right? And especially something like crisis skills, because crisis is a through line. Internal communications is a through line. All these things are through lines. So it's great to hear someone in your cohort, in your generation, be open to everything. And hopefully there are more people like you out there.
Hopefully.
But not too many because you need edge.
Yes.
Right, because you're going to say yes.
I think one of the things I'd like to point out is that we've had several recessions, and I graduated in 2 recessions, so twice, undergrad and my first master's. And I really do think
I'm trying to calculate that.
I'm not going to tell you my age.
Yeah.
But but it's true that I really do believe it's somewhat dependent on the individual. And I think you saying yes to everything. If there's a job available in a sector that you didn't originally set out to do, it still is a huge learning opportunity. The beauty of our field, both marketing and public relations, is that the skill sets are the same throughout your career. It's really learning the technical jargon of a different industry. So if people can have more of an open-minded perspective, I think that can really help as well.
And I'm sorry, Gabriella, I forgot to ask you what your focus is in your master's.
So right now
Unless you said it and I wasn't listening.
No, it's brand management. So I'm going to declare this year when I start in the fall.
So wait, are you breaking the news with us here first?
Yes, I am. I'm sticking to my guns.
Do we have to keep this under embargo?
No, we do not.
Okay. That's very cool. So here's another, I think, tough-ish question. In teaching in one of your colleagues' classes, in Kathy's class,
Yes.
I was talking about how we've entered this kind of post-literate, post-script world where, long form doesn't really exist as
Right.
prominently.
Yes.
Storytelling is still there, but it's different. It's video, it's memes, it's posts. It's very, very quick.
Yes.
How do you think young people in particular, not just young people entering the workforce, but also the workforce, how do they prepare themselves for that? Because this is it's a seismic shift. It's not gradual. It's moving at velocity.
Yeah, it is. I think AI is actually part of the process, right? Of expediting that. Also, being more strategic and streamlining what you need to say. Can you say what you need to, your key messages? Can you persuade, right? Because public relations, we're social scientists. We believe in persuading you to change behavior or have you adopt behaviors that we are trying to push for.
Right.
And so I think if people write shorter, cleaner, more concise, they're going to hook the person and be able to do that in a more effective way than in a long form.
In AI, you talked about jargon before. One of the ways, I'm not going to make this all about profit, I promise, but one of the ways some of our users use our tool
Yes.
is to use the generative feature to understand industry lingo and basically get upskilled very, very quickly, especially if you're in an agency and you've got multiple clients in different industries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. That jargon is one of the things that I had to learn very quickly, especially in the hospitality world. Working with partners, luxury hotels around the world, I think you're working with so many different cultures, but that jargon is something that I wish I would have known. What is an IATA number? What is like...
I know that.
Right?
Yeah. But it's because I'm old. I've worked
Yes.
in a lot of industries. Yeah.
Yes, but for marketing and PR as well, I think there's a situation with students where it's that those details aren't fully communicated, and sometimes that's where the place of AI can really step in and help, and I've found that to be the case with my studies as well.
So let me get your opinion on my opinion on what skills, especially undergrads, need to have, and what employers should be looking for, and I think what professors should be teaching. You can say yay or nay.
Okay.
Data visualization.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Critical thinking.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we're on a roll now. Let me see. Statistics.
Yay.
Okay, that's good. Writing.
Of course.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
Pitching.
Yay.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yay.
What am I missing?
Ooh.
Prompting.
Prompting is huge. If you look at Ethan and Lilac Malik, who are out of Wharton, UPenn, they were the first professors to do the research in that space and helping us as educators write those prompts. So NYU was an early adopter of let's embrace AI. We even have Clay Shirky, who is our vice provost of AI and technology. And we really went to the forefront of it and were early adopters. And then even being open to bringing in outsiders that are from other institutions, not looking at them as competitors, but collaborators.
Right. Right. How do you feel about your prompting skills?
I think that they're strong. I don't know. Prompting is something that we don't do a whole lot of in the degree that I'm in, but I mostly use AI for idea generation, and I think that's massively successful in what I do, and that's how I've seen professors really use it for the types of assignments and coursework that we do. But I always like to say that AI gives you B+ work, you give it A+ work.
You're being generous. I would call it a solid C, but it's better than nothing.
It is, it absolutely is. But we're taught to interrogate the platform.
Good.
So to really like have a conversation with it, let it learn your style, and then take it from there. So I
I
think
would
they're
say
strong.
human-led, AI-fed.
Yes.
And my feeling is, I know I'm not interviewing myself, but I'll just share this, that this next era is one of communications engineering, right? So it's the human in the loop.
Yes.
AI is there to help, but not to take over and not to do it for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, when you think about AI, what is the first thing that comes to your head? Don't overthink it. When I say AI, what do you immediately think?
Facilitator.
Okay.
Idea generator.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't say content generator though.
Yeah.
Because it drives me nuts, because generative AI is just like one form of it, but I do think that the future is more so in cognitive, predictive.
Yes.
How do I know who's going to engage with my story? How do I
Right.
make it more interesting? That's the generative part.
Right.
So I'm glad that it sounds like we're shifting a little bit.
Yeah.
We're shifting attitudes.
I'm really interested in the predictive piece of it, especially related to reputation management, because I know that's something that Profit works in that space. And someone who worked on a global crisis team, I mean, really it's mitigating emergencies so they do not escalate to crises. And there's a lot of predictability. If you see a crisis, there's a certain group of crises that will repeat themselves over and over. So if you can really nail that down, it helps you not have things escalate to the crisis level and also really be strong in your reputation management.
I appreciate you saying that because crises are more similar than they are different. They're all unique, but that's like a 20% uniqueness. 80% of it's the same.
exactly.
Whether it's unplanned executive succession, government enforcement action, a product recall, whatever it is. And you should be able, we're almost at the point now where you can list out the possibilities, which we're very good at doing, and now identify the probabilities.
Yes.
So you can plan better. And we're almost there. And then test the messages against different cohorts to see how they're going to be received. And to me, that's what's so exciting about all this.
Correct.
So I'm so glad you're able to join us today in the content studio.
Thank you so
One
much.
last question.
Sure.
How are you enjoying Cannes? Like, this is both your first. This is both your first time,
This
right?
is my second time, so I want to
Okay,
hear it
I'm
from
sorry.
you.
Yes.
Were you at Sport Beach last year?
I was.
Okay.
But this year you took it up a notch with the interview.
Not me. The great Beth Sidhu. She's amazing.
Yes, this is my first time. I'm thrilled to be here. I think it's a really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and shout out to NYU for providing that for us. I think we've been doing this program for maybe 3-4 years.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is a very unique, thrilling opportunity. I think the potential to meet people, to really engage with C-level executives, but also just students alike, is really great. And it definitely provided me the competitive edge, like you said prior, when I go forward into
And
the
how's
future.
your social battery right now? Percentage-wise?
It's pretty high. You have to
Really?
rest, you have to drink water,
You're
you
also
have to
young.
sleep.
You're young. You're young.
Yes.
I'm like at 54% and I'm losing my voice. But I've been here since Sunday, so I'm fried.
You can feel it.
And you, Stephanie?
I love the convergence of industry, academia, innovators, creators, and the collaborative pieces that come out of it. I've met people last year that I've engaged with this year, and those relationships have only gotten more meaningful. And I do believe there's one degree of separation in the world. So even though we're in Cannes, there's a lot of New Yorkers here, and you're seeing
great
them.
point.
The Yankees
and-
hats are really pissing me off.
Yes.
As a Mets fan, it's
Stand
fine.
Sorry,
by
I
that.
didn't mean to
But
ignite
people wear
that.
it like as a badge. It's annoying. Whenever I travel, I see it everywhere, and they don't even know what they're wearing.
Well, we like the Yankees because we host our graduation in Yankee Stadium. I'm sorry to break the news to you here, but
So I don't know if I could teach it anyway. I'm happy to guest lecture. It's fine. I'm not a Yankees hater. I'm a New York fan.
okay, well that's
am.
great.
Yeah.
Well, you still love New York, and so we'll take any kind of New York love we can get.
I do love
Sweet
New York.
one.
Thank you again for
Thanks
coming.
for having us.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
rest of
much.
your Cannes experience.
Same to you.
You
All
as
right.
well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.